When I was 6 years old, I broke my leg. And I was running from my brother and his friends, and tasted the sweet perfume of the mountain grass I rolled down. I was younger then. Take me back to when I found my heart, broke it here, made friends and lost them through the years. And I've not seen the boring fields in so long. I know I've grown, but I can't wait to go home. I'm on my way, driving at 90 down those country lanes.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for taking the time to come on. It's definitely greatly appreciated. And definitely thank you for being able to do this. So the way I usually start these off is with sort of like a fun question. But if you could choose your favorite home cooked meal, what would you choose?
Oh, home cooked meal. Fried catfish.
Oh my goodness, that's something I haven't had yet.
Well, that's because I'm from the South. I'm sure there's not a lot of that laying around Boston.
Right, not as much, unfortunately, because it does sound really good. I went to undergrad and grad school down in North Carolina, and I had a lot of friends that had it.
Yeah.
Of course, I just never got around to it yet, so that'll be a good reminder to put on the bucket list for sure.
Nice.
So, in terms of like Salem Red Sox stuff, it's kind of start shifting gears a little bit. I've been doing a lot of talking with folks around the industry, which is great. And they always talk about the sense of community and how important community is to any organization. And how does that look like? How's that look like for the team?
Yeah, so here in Salem, we certainly pride ourselves on being an all-inclusive community. We want to be a safe space for everyone. We want to make sure we're representing our entire community. We also want to make sure that that our fans and community members alike look at Carillion Clinic Field as more than just a baseball stadium. Sure, we host 66 home games, hopefully more with playoffs, but we also are really an event venue, and we have held quite a variety of different events, and we kind of have this unique stage here in Salem, Virginia, for folks to host a variety of different things. So in that regard, we're able to represent more community members. Not everyone's coming out to see a baseball game. For instance, we'll hold concerts here, and some of those folks who come in to see different artists have never stepped foot in the baseball stadium, and they see the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountain backdrop in the background, and it encourages them to come back to a baseball game sometime. So in that aspect, we want to make sure that we're offering a lot of events that encourage the entire community to come out. Obviously, within our season, we're very passionate about ensuring that our promo nights represent our community as well. So we have, African American Heritage Night, Pride Night, a variety of different promotional nights to make sure that we're really, reflecting our entire community.
Yeah, and that's awesome too. And especially like I was saying, being able to allow it to become more than just a baseball park, really bringing everybody in. And especially, like I said, too, I did see the pictures of the stadium with the mountains in the background, and that looks incredible.
Yeah.
Definitely something to help like set more of an edge for the area itself. And
For sure.
And so in terms of the product on the field, what does that look like? What goes into getting the players on the field?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously for those who have been following, the changes in minor league baseball. We went from, 160 teams to now 120. Obviously, Boston has 4, farm leagues, single, double, triple. And we're getting the babies here in Salem now. And I've always been very, adamant that is a really great time to interact with the players at that age. One, they're extremely eager to engage with our fans. So they're the first in line to sign autographs. It's like the easiest transition for us to make sure that they're engaged with our community and our fans. But the biggest thing for us is we want the players to feel like they're part of the community, and the community to embrace and engage and welcome the players as part of the community. And we don't really think of it as any separate group. And getting those players on the field is, I mean, that's especially for our younger fans here in Salem. It just to see the joy on their faces when they see the Salem Red Sox take the field each year, especially when we have great prospects. That's just a really, really great part of working in this industry.
Yeah, for sure. And the good thing about it too is that it always does change,
Mm-hmm.
and it never is different. And that's definitely something I've been hearing a lot, which is great. Is that especially in terms of our schedule, like our schedule, we think it can be like set in stone one day. 5 minutes later, can easily change for the rest of the week.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that's what definitely makes this. I think that's what makes this industry really intriguing. Is that it's never going to be the same night in and night out.
Exactly.
And so I know this has been kind of a conversation point for a lot of folks I've talked to. Tar pulls.
Oh
What do you
yeah.
all? How do you all like those?
So this will be my 10th year in minor league baseball. I love tarp pulls. I think that in a really strange way, tarp pulls almost remind us what industry we're in together. We all wear multiple hats. We always say that when we're hiring in this industry. It doesn't matter what we're hiring you for. You're going to do XYZ. You're going to be a team player. You're gonna have a hand in almost every department. That's how minor league baseball operates. Um, and tarp poles remind us of that, because you can look out on the field and it's our food and beverage department, our groundskeepers, our sales teams, our broadcasting team. We're all coming together for the greater good of staying in the game. And we just embrace it, honestly. We have fun with it. Our team photographers get out there and take pictures. We always love doing it. We never want rain during a game, but when we have it, there's something just like so fun. It almost makes you feel like a kid again, running out there in the third inning in a downpour. We've got radios on and running in wet khakis, and just we look absurd, but the fans are cheering us on, and it kind of reminds us that you just have to like we have fun doing what we do, so we embrace even the god awful things such as tarp pulls.
Yeah, and I've always loved them. Like to your point too, it's always such a great time. And
Yeah,
even the very first time that I ever did one was with the Winston-Salem Dash baseball team in North Carolina.
yeah,
And the president at the time, like, looked at him like, "Sir, I've never done this before." He's like, "All right, your best friends will be an extra change of clothes, an extra pair of socks, and a new pair of sneakers." And
yes,
that was spot on.
yep,
And we were the same way. Like whenever we did it, because I think the first time we had to do it was on our opening day at the
yep,
ballpark, and he yelled at me across the stadium like, "Jason, get down here!" And that was a ton of fun. It was
yeah, and
definitely a
it
good
really
time.
is.
I know a lot of folks, especially folks that I went to college with, that had to do it. They're like, I don't see the fun of it. And I just tell them like, you got to think differently. You got to think
Yeah,
differently.
we embrace it.
Exactly. And so, with the season kind of pretty much gearing up at this point, um, what does the road ahead look like?
Well, the road ahead is the month of May, and in the month of May, we play 18 games in 27 days. Next Tuesday, we kick off 12 games in 13 days. So we take it a homestand at a time, or a month we looked at April, we got our opening homestand out of the way. We just knocked out a 6-game series, and now we're going to run into a pretty brutal month of May in terms of scheduling. But we always make sure that, obviously, we rely heavily on our fans to join us regardless of what that schedule looks like. So we make sure we're very intentional in putting our promo schedules together to make sure that there's a variety of different things happening at the ballpark that's kind of fresh and creative each night. So it feels a little bit different for those, season ticket holders who are here every single night. So, while May is going to be, kind of exhausting, we're very excited about it because we have a jam-packed promo schedule, mixed with the league. We're playing pretty well on the field. We've been a little inconsistent, but everyone in the league has. So it's interesting. We're, I think under 500, but we're somehow second.
Oh,
So,
nice.
it's just an interesting, the things that are happening on the field early in the season mixed with the fun promo nights we have coming up. We're just trying to stay excited and well rested and just gearing up for an exciting month of May.
Yeah, for sure, and especially to that point. So as soon as the fans walk through the gate, as soon as the gates open, what does that experience normally look like?
Yeah, so we actually were just talking about this in our staff meeting yesterday. From the second that a fan enters our ballpark, it starts with parking. As they enter our facility, that is everyone who has a touch point with a fan matters. We don't look at our seasonal staff or our hourly employees, our interns, any differently than our full-time front office staff. Everyone has a purpose, and that purpose is to make sure that fans enjoy their experience here and that they leave wanting to come back. And secondly, remembering their time here. We had a season ticket holder stop by guest services just the other day to compliment how nice and organized our parking lot attendant was. And just little things like that really matter. So a fan can expect when they enter the ballpark, obviously, friendly faces, everyone's going to be welcoming. Whether you'll engage with our parking lot attendant, if you have to swing by the box office or our will call attendant, everyone will be welcoming and willing to assist you in any way. As you enter through the gates, I'm sure you'll be greeted by our mascot Muggsy and our promo team wanting folks to sign up for on-field games. If we have a gate giveaway or player poster giveaway, that will happen right there at the front as well. Then they'll enter a little bit further, and that's kind of when they can decide where they're going to go, whether that's go play in the kids zone, stop by the team store, grab a wristband and go to one of our mini concession stands. Our center bar features tons of local craft beers, so that's always a popular area. Guest services is right there when fans enter the ballpark, which happy to answer any questions for folks. So we have a sales table. A sales team's always actively ready to, offer ways to, save money and find flexible ticket packages that work for everybody. So, right when fans enter, they're really going to get a dose of everything that we offer. But regardless of who they talk to, whether it's front office, hourly, everyone will be willing to help them and be accommodating.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's definitely fun to see too how engaging the games can be, especially with baseball itself. There definitely are a lot of kids coming around, and so that's what I've always loved about teams like this. How they definitely tailor to allowing the kids to have a ton of fun as well.
Yeah.
And so, what are their? Oh, how am I trying to phrase this here? So, I think every team has a lot of unique challenges and a lot of awesome exciting traits that they really rely on. And so what would that look like for the organization, especially with the team the season just starting, going down that road ahead, and then season will be up, the off season will be here before we know it too. And of course we just came off of one. And so what challenges, if any, would the team really kind of use as a strength?
I don't know that we necessarily have any challenges per se. Geographically, we're located right off of Interstate 81, which is, a heavily trafficked interstate. So, we're about 10 miles off of that. Some people think that, they necessarily don't want to hop off because it's, it feels further to them than it actually is. But, once they get to the ballpark and they see we're surrounded by those Blue Ridge Mountains, it really kind of becomes a unique area. I think obviously weather is going to be the largest challenge for any baseball team. We can't control it. We always, we joke, how early are we going to start getting phone calls about if we're playing or not? It might start sprinkling at 4:30 in the morning and we'll start getting calls at 7 a.m. We're never going to make that call. We're never going to make that call until much closer to game time, especially in our area, like our mountains. The weather here is just so unpredictable. The mountains can move a weather system very quickly. So, we do everything in our power to get the game in, like most facilities. So, weather's always a challenge from year in, year out, but we just make the most of it. Obviously coming off of COVID taught us all a lot about the industry. We're still, rebuilding from that, both in a staffing situation. Obviously, we're still trying to build our workforce, just like most industries post-COVID. We're a lot better off than we were, 2 years ago. but we're still trying to rebuild. So in a way, that's, a little bit of a challenge. But we didn't really look at it as a challenge after the fact. Once we were able to reopen our gates, we really kind of embraced what we learned from it. And that was one, that fans will support us regardless of the baseball season. And we just cannot tell them how appreciative we are of that enough. When we had a canceled season, we opened our ballpark for hundreds of events, because we were able to offer this open outdoor space. They came out in masses to support all of our efforts, and that really showed. So we've tried to keep those things in place. Even though we're, back on track and we have a season, we're still trying to find unique events to host here at the ballpark and just filling our calendar, because just like we hate walking away in September and saying, oh, we'll see you in April, the fans are also that way. So we don't really think of it like that anymore. Once the season closes in September, we start thinking, what are we going to do from October to March? What's that going to look like for the calendar? We want to be able to have touch points with our season ticket holders in the fall and winter, and not just pick up the phones in April. So it's for us, it's really important in the industry as a whole to keep those relationships going all the time.
Yeah, for sure. And that's so true too. And that's what makes it so special, is that, we're always creative, we're always thinking, and that's what makes it really awesome. It's just so much fun. And so, especially to that point, I know this is a conversation point that I've had with some folks too. And the game of baseball itself means so many different things to so many different people. Even just to us, like, we all take it differently and personally, and take it in such a great way. And so now I want to ask you, what does baseball mean to you?
So I have, this is a two-part answer. If you would have asked me when I first entered the industry, for me, it's just extremely nostalgic. For us who work in the industry, if specifically in minor league baseball, it's rare that we actually get to catch a lot of the game. So for us, it's this kind of beautiful backdrop to what we're selling, this experience that we're selling. But regardless of us not being able to see it, we know it's there, and, the sound of the bat and the PA and the smell of, the popcorn and just the ballpark atmosphere. For me, it's just extremely nostalgic. It reminds me of, growing up, my grandma would always have baseball on. My dad was a huge Cardinals fan. It just kind of takes me to a different time when things were a little bit simpler.
Right.
But, fast forward a decade, I have two children who, will kind of get to grow up here at the ballpark. And to me, that is extremely special, because what better way to spend your summers than, and eventually they'll probably work here.
Right.
So for me, it's kind of shifted over the years, but still, it kind of, those two kind of blend with one another, because it is still that nostalgic, experience for me that my kids now get to witness as well.
Yeah, for sure. And that's incredible. Thanks so much for that answer. It's definitely a sport that, like you said, it's definitely that nostalgic based side of it. And, it's definitely one of those things where it has stood like the test of time. And to really think it started in, let's say, like the late 1800s, and it's still here.
Yeah.
That definitely speaks a lot too. So thanks so much for that. And I think that's all the questions I had for now.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you again for taking the time to join me today. It's definitely much appreciated, and it's definitely one of those things too where I would definitely love to keep the conversation going.
Yeah, sure.
So if we give it about a month or so, like to get the few games here that you guys have kind of off the calendar, and would definitely love to reach out again and continue talking.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah.